Well, hey YouTube, welcome back, my friends, once again to Whiskey 3 Charlie Tango, W3CT, your good old friend Jack. Once again, I'm up here in the Jack Shack. Yep, right in the old ham radio shack here, slash more computer room probably than ham shack, but that's the way we all kind of get started, right? Anyway, I thought in this video, I'm sure the thumbnail and the title always gives it away, whatever thumbnail I used, but we are going to talk about something that's very dear and near to my heart, and something that actually works extremely well. So, what are we talking about? We are going to talk about the Pico Keyer. So let's get started right after this. Alright guys, today obviously we're talking about the Pico Keyer. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about just the Pico Keyer. I think I'm also going to incorporate something in here about auto keying and the importance of auto keying and being able to do that. So the Pico Keyer, you may have seen in a video, a couple of videos back, I'll link it at the end of this video, of me building the Keyer. I elected to buy the kit because it helps to increase the knowledge of learning how to build kits. It gets you over the fear of soldering, or it even helps to improve your soldering techniques. And maybe at some point I would like to build one of the I think it's a QMC radio from QRP Labs. I just haven't decided on which band I want to build. So, I mean, that's something to select one of those radios. It's a single band radio. But anyway, I want to talk about more than just a Pico Keyer today. I also want to talk about the importance of auto keying and why it is important, why it may be, I don't know, not hated by some people, but some people will tell you that's not real CW because you're using an aid. This aid can come in very, very handy, and I'm going to tell you why. So the first thing I can tell you about is recently I told you we've worked winter field day, and that's probably where the thumbnail came from, because I was using the Pico Keyer, and I have it configured to actually, and we're going to go through all the configurations, so don't run away. Don't be like, he's just kind of chatting. I'm just giving you the base of this video. So without the Pico Keyer, with the G90 radio, it doesn't have a built-in keyer. I don't understand why they didn't do that, since it has a built-in decoder that works sometimes, but it's not awesome. You know, it's kind of marginal decoding. I hope you know how to copy code. Don't trust the decoder is all I'm saying. I would rather see the G90 have an auto keyer built in, such as my QMX and a lot of your radios out there. I see a lot of the Xiegu radios. My ICOM 7300 has a built-in auto key. It just saves a lot of finger work, okay? Back and forth finger work or straight key or whatever you're doing. Now, some guys configure these auto keyers to do the replies. Some guys configure it obviously to do the sending. That's what I configured it for. All my replies, I always like to reply with a thank you. On POTAs, sometimes if I don't catch the call sign completely, or if I think it might be off, I'll send the call sign back at the end. So every ending could be a little different. I really can't auto key that. I don't want to auto key that. I want to be very genuine when I'm talking back to somebody. Sometimes I even use their name, and you guys may do that too. And I see a lot of POTA activators out there. If you have access to somebody's name, if you're using a logging program and you have internet access and you type their call in and you see their name, you'll actually respond back with their name. And to me, that's very personal. I think that makes it a more interesting, quick QSO as POTA is. But on winter field day, I programmed one of these buttons to actually send, CQ, 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 and I was sending field day. I don't understand why people are sending WFD, because in the summertime, we don't send SFD. And so I don't know why they were doing that. It doesn't matter. I understood, what they were saying. Winter field day, winter field day. But really, it's field day. It's either, if you're in the cold, obviously everybody knows it's winter field day. It's not summer field day. So that's just the way it is. But I configured this to do the calling. And it saved me a ton of keystrokes or paddle work to do that. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, though, is I wanted to walk through some of the configuration, or basically all the configuration. So, If you're going to get bored, I don't know if I'll put chapter markers in here or not, but you can always scroll across the bottom and move the playhead to wherever you want to listen to me next is. What I'm going to start with is the configuration of this thing, because if you see, the one thing this thing lacks, I wish they would put an LED on the top of this thing somewhere or something. So when you turn this knob and you're adjusting the speed, I would really like to see something where it would show me the words per minute that's sending. And I'm looking at ways of modifying this thing to do so. I'm trying to figure out a little LED to put in there, not an LED, a little display to put right in the top, cut that open, put a display in, and actually measure to give me a more accurate way of finding my words per minute. Right now, the only way I can figure out to find your words per minute with this thing is to, it's kind of weird, but send your CQ out, send test. You don't have to, but it's nice when you're sending tests when you really don't want people answering you. And go to the reverse beacon, and it will tell you how fast you're sending. So it's a nice way to kind of judge. Right now I have this thing set for 18 words a minute, which I find is a great speed for POTA. It's a great speed. It was a great speed for winter field day. I noticed at winter field day a lot of people were sending 18 to 20. They weren't getting crazy. I know summer field day, sometimes people want to send 30 to 40 words a minute, which, you know, I think you're cutting out a big part of your demographics as far as CW operators when you do that. So I think, you know, keep it at a comfortable 15 to 20 or 18 to 20 is pretty good. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to walk you through setting this thing up, the different configurations you can do with this thing, and we'll go ahead and talk about that now. Okay, let me just move this camera around, and with the magic of editing, we'll be over on the bench. Okay, so as I said, the Pico keyer. This is kind of the birthplace of the Pico keyer. This is where this one was actually put together and kind of born, right? So anyway, there's 4 presets. So there's 4 buttons on the front. This knob actually adjusts the actual sending speed. Now, one thing I can tell you with the Pico keyer when you hook it up, to turn your radio, set your radio for straight key mode, for manual keying. Because this actually works, this is the electronic keyer at that point. This is taking place of what is inside the radio. So if you hook one of these up and it's not working, or it's very erratic, which, yeah, Jack did it, you'll learn very quickly that you should set your radio to manual mode or straight key. On the back of this thing, I'm going to go through these connectors because this one is kind of interesting. I don't know why they marked it this way. So let's walk through this and show you exactly what I'm talking about. I believed, okay, this one is easy here. See the speaker? That's for a headphone or an external speaker. You can put in there, and you can use this as an oscillator to practice, right? That's awesome. I have a lot of guys that message me and comment me and say, you know, Jack, how did you learn to send? Well, you just practice. I usually take the radio and I turn the transmit off, and I set my radio to where it's only set up to, you know, use it basically as an oscillator or, you know, just a practice keyer. And you can hear what you're sending without transmitting on the air. But you could do that here if you wish to do that. The next one here is T. Now, T to me would mean, you know, that T would represent to me transmitter. I thought that was the transmitter. I figured that was probably where the transmitter went, but it's not. It's actually where your paddles will go into, or your straight key or whatever else you're working with. You can plug in there because you can use a straight key with this. I mean, you're not obviously going to get the iambic paddling, but you could use a straight key. This side over here is actually where the transmitter goes. You can see that, but I don't know what that says on there. I don't even know what that little mark is. You guys can see that? But the T is actually where the key goes. Transmitter, key, optional. All right, very, very simplistic. On the front here, the only way to configure this thing, I thought you would hook it to a computer and maybe type it in the computer what you want, but that's not the case. It's actually all worked through the buttons. And I'm going to try to go through these commands without boring you. Now, I will tell you, when you have a Pico keyer, you're going to have to be able to copy CW to understand what it's saying to you, because it talks to you in CW. There's no voice modulator in this thing. It doesn't speak or anything. There's no way to hook it to a computer, so you can't configure it that way. So you configure it through CW, which kind of makes sense. But if you're having trouble copying it, I'd recommend turning the knob all the way to the left counterclockwise, and it will slow it way down, and you can actually, write down what you're hearing. With that said, I find it to be a lot easier to go ahead and I printed off every single direction for this keyer. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to, right now, I actually have, and I can tell you, this thing has a built-in speaker. I'm going to call it the chirp box, because as you're sending your CW, this thing is also chirping. It's very annoying. So there is a way to turn it off, and I'll show you through these instructions where that is. And I have mine set to off. But in reading the instructions, as soon as you put it in configuration mode, the speaker will obviously turn on, so you can actually be able to hear what you're doing. I'm just going to try to bring this light around a little bit here. Now, as I said, the instructions are here. You can definitely use the instructions. It took a little time to figure this thing out. I've actually turned this keyer off, turned it on, put it in the wrong mode, probably 10 times before I figured out exactly how to dial it in to what I want it to do. All right. So the first thing it says to do in the instructions is to enter or exit the setup mode, use the up arrow and the right arrow. So the up arrow is here and the right arrow is here. If you hold them both down, it will give a sound. Okay, I don't know if you heard that or not. I tried to bring it up to the microphone so you can hear it, but it will definitely give a sound. See if I can do it again. Okay, that was a bye. Let's do it again. Okay, so it will give you a sound that now it is in setup mode. Once you're in setup mode, all you do is use the left and the right button to toggle through the different settings of this Pico keyer. And as you do that, the keyer is going to speak to you in CW. See if I can get the first one, see if you can hear it. Okay, that said speed 13 words a minute is what that said. So it's pre-configured for 13 words a minute. You can adjust that. All that you have to do to adjust it is use the up or down arrows. You can increase or decrease the speed of the internal keyer. I don't honestly know why that's there. Maybe somebody could leave in the comments below what that's supposed to be for. Because if you turn the knob, you can also adjust it. So I'm not really sure. The next thing is QSO number. The keyer will send a current QSO number. You can use the up or the down buttons to set the QSO number from 1 to 65535. To reset the QSO number to 1, simply press both buttons at the same time. So that would be the next one. Now listen, you'll hear it say QSO number. Everything in bold is what it's actually saying to you. That's why I told you, keep this paper and go from the top to the bottom. If you're looking for a specific setting, just listen for the letter that it starts with. Let's go ahead to the next one here. Okay, so that was the next one. It sounded like it was set to 10. Okay, range. The next one's going to be range. So it's going to say range L. Okay, the next one is range H. Okay, could you hear it say RANG? The next one's going to be cut number. Okay, the next one's going to be, now some of these are interesting. I don't know, maybe you guys that are even better at CW than I am know what these means, but range low, this sets the low end of the speed control pot range. Okay, so that makes sense. The default is 5 words a minute, so you can change this thing. They say this keyer will key at up to 60 words per minute. It's pretty fast, right? The setting is adjustable the same way you would set the stored speed. So it's kind of neat. Right now, by default, it's set to 5 words a minute. Range high. Okay, it just shut back off again, so you have to go back into settings. Range high, this sets the high end of the speed control. Okay, it is set the same way as the speed control as the low range. By default, it's set to 30 words per minute. Now, the pot control obviously is the knob here. Well, again, what I don't like about it, there's no numbers on there, so you kind of have to adjust it. Again, use the reverse beacon to figure out what's going on. The next thing is auto letter spacing. The key will announce the current setting. Auto letter spacing takes effect for messages sent from memory as well as code sent manually with the paddle. Okay, 0 turns the letters off, 1 turns the spacing on. Settings 2 through 9 will set the spacing for longer delays. Okay, let's turn this back on. Okay, we'll go back through this. Starts back at the top. There's the 13. This is why I said just listen to where you want to get to. Okay, that's range. Range low. Range high. Okay, cut number. Now here's that one we're looking at, letter spacing. You heard it set to 0. The next thing is LDG, which is leading zeros. No idea what that's used for. Okay, BCN, beacon delay. The default is 15. Just going to kind of walk through these a little bit faster. Wait. That's the keyer announcing the current wait. The default is 5. Side tone is what I told you about. You heard it said it was off. And you can go backwards. Okay, let me hear you. You're going to hear side tone again. Listen. S, I. Okay, and it was set to 0. Key is a big one to listen for. The key, the type of key you can set this thing for is current keying mode is A or B for iambic, A or B timing modes, U for ultramatic, don't even know what that is. G is for a bug, obviously, and S is for a straight key. Okay, let's go next. Okay, that's for the paddles, so you can reverse the paddles from left hand to right hand. Okay, that's for audio. That's the delay. Transmit delay compensation. Okay, my call. Okay, that's the next thing it does. It does a bank. Select a message memory bank 1 through 4 or 5 through 8. Okay, it's set to 1 right now. So 1, obviously bank 2. So this thing does store 8 different messages now. Okay, this is the updated model. Okay, that's a menu. Menu, okay, long sends the words of each selection. Short sends the abbreviated selection. This one here, like WP or whatever, okay? Okay, that's the firmware version, telling you the firmware version. And that's basically all of it. I mean, that's everything that this has in. To get out of the menu mode, just hit these both. And that should clear you out of it. Okay, so it's pretty simplistic that way. Now, You're like, okay, so Jack, that's all well and good. And, you know, that was kind of a quick run through with this. I don't want this video to be like 20 hours long. I just wanted to show you the versatility of this little guy here. And again, like I said, originally when I opened the video, I told you it has 4 memory slots, 4 main memory slots, okay? On bank 2, it has another 4 memory slots if you want to configure it for that. I can't figure for myself why I would need more than 4. Most of mine are used for CQ calling POTA. I also have CQ calling DX. And I have CQ calling just for home if I'm using 40 meters or 30 meters. And I just want to talk to people, you know, just do some rag chewing. So that's all of those. That's pretty much it in a nutshell for that. What I want to show you now is, and I don't know how this is going to work out. I'm going to try to put the microphone right on this thing so you can hear it. But what I'm going to do is show you how to record a message on this thing. Okay. So all you do is take your key, which I have a key right here. I'm sorry, a paddle. So many people on my videos go, that's not a key, that's a paddle. This thing is very valuable. I use this at field day. It's a jar opener, rubber jar opener. Yeah, I stole it from the drawer downstairs, the silverware drawer. I'm going to buy some of these myself. Buy these at the dollar store for about $1. But it really keeps it solid on the table. Okay, plug your key in. Remember, the key again, I thought it goes to the middle, but it actually goes on this side. Then we're going to plug it into the key. Now, try to get this on camera. Take this mic off my shirt. We're going to lay it on here, just like that. Now, you should still be able to hear me okay. Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and record this. So push it and hold it. It's going to sound a K. Okay, there we go. Once you're done, push it and save it. There you go. Now if you push it, you should hear the playback. Okay guys, so you can see the value added in having a Pico keyer. So even if you have a built-in keyer in your radio, this thing goes above and beyond what your radio is probably capable of doing. Now, again, I'm not associated with these guys. Remember, I ordered this, purchased this with my own money, so this is not an advertisement by any means. I like buying things and putting them together, and I like showing you guys. I had somebody comment on my recent video, on my G90 video, saying, well, influencers just push people into things. I am not an influencer, okay? Influencers get stuff for free and they say, hey, this is the greatest thing in the world. That's not me, guys. I'm just showing you I bought it and it's useful. And that's what I want to share with you, is stuff that's useful that I'm trying. Even antennas I build that don't work, you get to see it, and maybe I'll protect you from building the same mistake. Could happen. But yeah, it is a valuable tool. You know, and most radios, come on, let's face it, we need it to call CQ. That's what we need it for. We don't need all the weight and the spacing and the numbers and the serial numbers. And maybe you do, I don't. So most of my radio equipment will do what I need it to do, but this will do a whole lot more. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this type of video. Man, thanks to everybody out there that's been subscribing to these videos and the channel, My Ham Radio Journey. I truly appreciate it. If nothing else, it's getting the videos pushed out there to more people. You know, the more subscribers you have, the more people that get to view the video content that you are enjoying right now. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, why not? It doesn't cost you anything. Smash that subscribe button. Notice I never ask in the beginning. There's a reason for that. I want you to enjoy the content and see if you liked it. If you got this far, subscribe. I'll be bringing you more. Thanks everybody out there for the fine and the great and the very encouraging comments. I do appreciate it. I also love constructive criticism, I don't get mad, as long as it's just worded the right way and nicely, and say, hey, Jack, you could do this. And it's helped me a lot to learn on my journey. So again, guys, thank you so much for watching. I am Whiskey 3 Charlie Tango, W3CT, your good old friend Jack, up here in the Jack Shack. And I will talk to you guys next time. 73s, I hope to catch you on the airways. Take care, and I'll see you back here very soon. Bye for now.